I'm sorry the Steeler game got postponed on Sunday.
Exactly. I was going to say, I'm thankful for many things that we're having football. And it is interesting that the triple header, the last leg of the triple header, was just postponed until Sunday. They're going to play it, but it's going to be on Sunday. So we've got the football we have on Thursday is the doubleheader.
Yep.
And we're going to go through those games. It starts off with Houston.
Yep. Houston at Detroit.
Of course, it was always the Lions.
And then Skins.
Dallas.
Yeah. Well, the Washington Football Club.
Football.
I still can't get used to that. So
what is it with Washington names? The Bullets? I just heard someone say
they had
Bullets.
To change that too.
They had to change the Wizards.
I would have left it the Bullets. I like the Bullets.
So talk to me. So
let's review the painful week of
I was gonna say, it's all, to me, like, when you lose the patient in the hospital, you do a post-mortem.
Right.
And last week you were 4 for 5.
Yeah.
And a lot of close calls. So walk
4 and 5,
us through what happened.
So I knew I should have known right away after that really bum call on the Purdue Minnesota game, or lack thereof.
Many are saying the worst call in recent memory, right?
Maybe in the history of me betting, where I lost like that. Like, that was pretty sad. So I should have taken that as like an omen that the rest of the weekend was going to turn out pretty sad. But I did have some sweet wins. I won big on that on the Iowa Penn State. They won by 20, only laying 2.5.
Penn State 0-5.
0-5. And imagine that. I can't even imagine what Joe Paterno is doing right now, like turning over in his grave. But here's something I think that's important to talk about, and because I could have won some of these other bets if I just bet the money line, but you got to put up a little bit more of an investment. So instead of 110, I might be betting 180 to win 100, but I would have won those bets minus the San Diego State because they didn't even win that game. But the other games that I picked, we actually won the game but didn't cover the number. For example, the Cincy UCF.
Did you watch that game?
Wait a minute, that's a win. So it was 5.5. Oh no. I lost by a hook.
You bought the hook.
Oh, that's the
Did
worst.
you watch that game?
I watched a little bit of it.
That was I gotta tell you something.
I don't want to hear about that. What do they call it? The bounce house, and he was talking trash. But there's no playing advantage there. I don't even get that.
That Cincy team looks good, man.
Yeah, they got another good game this weekend, but I'm staying away from them after that painful loss. But I did come back later in the afternoon with a Georgia State over South Alabama that Andy was calling me a straight degenerate.
We call that the degenerate category.
Yeah, and then my dog of the week, Indiana, came up huge. Almost won that game.
20.5 point dogs.
Yeah.
And they had it. They had, what were they, like, 90 yards away from.
So close.
Oh,
that would have been sweet for that. So let's just, we got to start over.
I heard on Indiana, I heard Dan Lebitard, I think it was, saying, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I love watching Indiana play football.
They're pretty good, man.
They're a cool football team.
The quarterback is super fast, willing to take risks, runs the ball, throws.
The defense is flying around the field. Yeah. It's so crazy to talk about.
Can you imagine? That quarterback from Ohio State got sacked more that game than I think the whole season so far. Yeah. The shortened season. But now it's time to flip it around because we're on I'm going to make this fast.
Yeah. All right, so here we are, week 13.
Yeah, all right.
I see your. Let's start with the morning game, Houston, Detroit.
Okay, so just to say that I'm a line guy. I like watching the lines move, and that shows me where the sharp money's going. And that started out as Detroit a favorite by 2. Part of that because they're at home and they're the friendly confines of Lions Stadium, but.
Ford Field.
With that 5-point move, I know that's a lot of people are going to be watching that because it's a Thanksgiving Day game and there's a limited amount of sports on. But I love Houston to cover. Houston -3 over Detroit. And then the second part of that, the second game, the third game got canceled, is Redskins Dallas.
You mean the Washington
Football Club. So I did it over-under that one.
Against toothless Dallas.
They're so bad. They are. Jerry Jones has got to be hating life right now. But Washington. So the over-under opened at 47.5. It's down to 46. Neither one of these teams can score. Yeah. Really. So I like the under 46.
All right.
And then college, there is one game on Thursday night at 7. That's number 129, 130, New Mexico. The Lobos against the Aggies from Utah State, who burned me last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and lay the 6.5 in this one. That line moved from 5 to 6.5. So it looks like the sharp money is going to New Mexico. So that covers Thursday.
That's our Thursday football.
Yeah, and then
it's interesting. I got to tell you something. It's funny to think about it. With the cancellation of that the game of the triple header. I mean, all eyes are going to be on the Lobos and the Aggies.
That's going to be an awesome.
When's the last time you watched the Lobos play?
Oh, they were better in basketball when I was younger, growing up. What do they call that place? The rack or whatever. Their stadium where they play. Yeah, but they were great in college basketball. So I did pick a couple on Saturday. For Saturday, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 games for college football Saturday. I dialed it back a little bit.
Oh man, look who coming in. Dude, just come in just with that whole outfit on, please.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to put him like.
He's gonna come right here
because that mic's not working.
We're not letting him have a chair. He's just coming in and making an appearance. I just want everyone to see what's on this man's body.
Yeah,
okay,
he's gonna have to come over here to.
Here's Andy.
Expose himself.
Here's Andy Corge with his. He's like a demented back man, and you can't see his shoes. He's got black Converse on,
so big here.
A thin blue line face mask, and show your hat.
This is the greatest hat of all time. It's Will Ferrell from Elf, and he says, "Santa, I know him."
Hey, we got
That's the movie where he ate the spaghetti with maple syrup on it. Who doesn't love that?
Hey, he's supposed to be here. He wants to give you a hard time, but
listen, he can definitely give me a hard time about the 4 and 5. But the one game that he was talking trash about me to, the Georgia State,
the degenerate
South Alabama. I was dead on that one.
You're making money. Tell me, do the Gators play this weekend?
They do, and I stay away from the Gators because I usually get beat up by these people like this guy.
So what's your take on the Gators this weekend?
Let's take a look. They're playing Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky! Kentucky always gives.
What's the line on that one?
Okay, so I'll give a pick for that, but it's not going to be the total. I mean, it's not going to be the game. So it opened at 21.5. It's now 23.5. Wow. But I like the over.
Look at Andy's face.
I like the over. So it opened at 57.5. It's up to 61.
This is the new SEC.
Because I got crushed on that.
Yeah, this is the new SEC. No defense. They look like the Big 12, like air attack.
Yeah, but they were under last week against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
No, dude. But all bets were off.
That was an aberration.
That was. I got to tell you something. I was trash texting back and forth with Andy during that game, and it was like Andy was scoring at will against the Gators.
Right.
Like, what is going on?
That was surprising.
No defense. Mullen needs his Bob Stoops. That's what he needs.
Yeah,
he's a great offensive coach. I mean, remember Spurrier won all those SEC championships, couldn't win a national title until Stoops came to Gainesville. Mullen seems to need it.
It's funny, and it's funny you say that because I got to tell you something. Like, to me, there is no shame in embracing. It's the same thing with when you look at the Canes, right? It's Manny is a defensive genius. To me, it's that thing of like the Rodman. Like, just be good at what you do, and occupy that field. And there's no shame in saying, I want nothing to do with offense,
right?
Because you're going to bring in a quality guy if he knows he's going to get the credit and build it the way he wants to do it. And that D, if the Gators could just bring in someone and say, here's your chance to make a name for yourself, because that D just needs to go back to the drawing board.
For sure. But does Trask look like an NFL quarterback to you?
I
mean, he's a first rounder for sure.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, no one's really talking about him as a great NFL prospect. I think he should be the lead. I'm not saying this as a Gator fan, but when I look at him, I think he should be the lead Heisman Trophy candidate at this point. I mean, he's very Burrow-esque at this point in his career. And by the way, they say video film puts 10 pounds on you. It looks like it's put at least 30 on you. Anybody watching? This is added 30.
Well, that's part of it though too. Is Andy is you've embraced like just you look like a European soccer coach. All your shirt's super tight. Got to form fit it up.
Right. Speaking of that, we got to, you were telling me that Maradona passed away.
Yeah, just so 60 years old Maradona. What a life. 60 years old Maradona.
Yeah, he was a beast. Today. He was a beast. I mean, they still wear that jersey, 10. I think they're probably going to put that in the rafters.
We grew up watching that, and it's funny because to just take a moment to reflect on Maradona, I always say the thing that fascinated me, I grew up watching Gretzky in Edmonton, right? Live watching him. And watching and watching Jordan on TV, and Maradona fits in this category to me. It's like there's nothing more fascinating in sports than when everyone knows what the player is about to do and no one can stop him.
Right.
And Maradona would take on that team on his shoulders and just, like the things he did was just amazing. So
yeah. I mean, he's like a Tiger, he's like a Lemieux, one of those, once in a lifetime kind of guys.
But guys, I just wanted to come by and say
you stink.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I get.
Last week,
you stink.
Although you were the week before? 5-2?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. 4-2.
So what are we at? We're at 500 now?
I'm 1 over 500.
Hey, we're above 500.
If you're 1 over 500,
you're a winner.
You're a winner.
And this week with his locks, and you missed it, he got his soccer lock.
Soccer lock. I had that. I picked the FC Nashville. They won 3-0.
He picked against Inter Miami.
Well, that was a smart.
Franco Panizo was very sad.
I bet he was.
3-0 they won.
Franco Panizo needs to learn an Italian accent, okay?
Right.
A name like Franco
Inter
Panizo.
Miami showed up and just laid an egg.
Well, guys, good luck.
Thanks,
Keep picking them.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll do the opposite. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
Bye.
Good luck with that. Brutal.
What do we got next?
All right, so let's just go through the rest of Saturday.
We got to do Dog of the Week.
Oh, well, and I'm going hometown on this. Like most of my aunts and uncles, they were WVU grads. My grandfather.
One of the greatest places to watch a game.
Oh, the best.
Do they still light all the sofas on fire?
Oh yeah.
After the game in the middle of COVID.
Oh yeah, and they tease the dads that are when they're dropping their daughters off on first day of school.
Oh god.
Yeah. Letting them know that they're going to be safe for the semester. But yeah, well, I'll let that one sit till the end. But let's go through the rest of the games that I've got on Saturday. Wyoming playing at UNLV. Both these teams are pretty rough, but I still think Wyoming's offense is pretty stout. Laying 16.5. That moved from 13 to 16.5. I've got that somewhere, or did I even put it?
No, you didn't put that.
Well, it's on. We recorded it. I went to the Mac Attack with Central Michigan, the Chippewas.
The Chippewas.
Yeah, and in honor of Gino, who was on here from Lifetime, I'm wearing this hat. He's an actual graduate of Central Michigan. Yeah, what do they call it? Ship 'em chips or something like that?
Yep, chip 'em chips.
So they're that opened at 4. Now it's 7. I love Central Michigan to win that. Eastern Michigan hasn't won a game yet. I don't think. Now here's something, and I bet you most of the audience doesn't know the answer that you probably do. But most of the audience, what is the mascot of Coastal Carolina?
Oh,
and it's a funky looking chicken, but it's got a special name.
I can't remember.
Chanticleer.
Yeah, that's of course a Chanticleer. Yes, I did know that.
So
it's a good trivia question.
Yeah,
yes.
So I'm coming back. They won last week in a nail biter. I'm picking them this week to win. They're laying 17 at Texas State. They're getting some recognition, man. They're under 8-0 right now. I don't think that gets them into the Final Four, but it's going to get them a sweet bowl game.
I got to tell you, it's funny. Everyone got upset about people who would. One of the arguments they would make against the 4-game playoff was that we all love the drama of the arguments, and like now, of course, it's just about who's in the top 4, right? So it's like you have. I mean, it's so interesting to see when the polling came out on Tuesday night. You've got the Texas A&M, you got the Gators, like making, these really strong cases to get in. And then you got BYU, you got Cincy, you got Coastal Carolina, like everyone, that controversy lives on, right?
But they're like the UCFs. I mean, they're always going to be like that. They're never going to get into that Final Four, I don't think, just because of the strength of the schedule.
But that is the argument for a wider playoff, right? Like who wouldn't want to see
Sweet
an undefeated, 16? Exactly. And like an undefeated BYU, can they play with Texas A&M? I have no idea, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to see that. I want to see that bowl game somewhere. Exactly. Call it whatever. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I want to see it. I think Texas A&M will do it, but I want to see
Florida.
It.
That's the only loss that Florida has is A&M.
Yeah. And that was, I mean, that game was
killer.
It was killer.
And then the last one, and then I'll do the dog of the week is Nevada laying 7 at Hawaii. Hawaii covered in their last game, but I think Nevada's just stronger.
Did you lose that one last week?
I lost. Nevada won, beat San Diego State by 6. So,
gotcha.
And then dog of the week is the Sooners coming to Morgantown against a pretty good West Virginia team. They're 5-2, and they always play strong in Morgantown. It's Thanksgiving weekend. A lot of kids are going to be home. I think that stadium's probably going to be, not full, but damn near it. And, one side of the stadium says, let's go. The other side says Mountaineers.
Yeah.
And it's thundering.
The place
and it's awesome. And they're getting 10.5. So you got to love that.
And the Mountaineers shooting off that gun and
boom. Yeah. It's pretty,
and then who did cool. Dolphins play this weekend? Oh my God. What's the line on the Jets game?
I think it's 10.
I got to tell you something. This will be peak Dolphins that we lose this game.
Well, I mean, I think last week, if we lose to the Jets, the season's finished. I mean, forget it. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. That's it. They're done.
I mean, I got to tell you something and so what did you think about Tua getting pulled?
Oh man, the guy wasn't playing.
It's fine. I've heard both sides of it, and it's very interesting to me. It's like, what does Tua learn sitting on the bench? But I also, it's like, it was so like, I really respect Flores' attitude of like, what is our best chance to win?
Right.
And I found it interesting because I get frustrated with coaches because I watch a lot of high school football, obviously. And what I love about high school football is you have to be flexible and you have to figure out ways to win. And I can't tell you how many games I watch where it's like everything gets thrown out. You're losing by 2 touchdowns. The whole game plan gets thrown out, and we're just going to direct snap it to our best athlete, who is like a DB,
and let him figure it out,
and just
let
go
it ride.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, because we're gonna win this game, and Flores bringing him in, it was Fitzmagic almost happened, right? I mean, it was like the plan worked until the last thing, and of course, that's a double-edged sword of Fitzpatrick. But I was very torn by what they did. I do understand the thinking of just like let Tua grind through it, learn, but Tua was very ineffective.
Right.
And it was almost like, it's interesting too, because I think one of the other takes I had from it, I was really fascinated by that game because it really had that aspect of it. Like it wasn't Tua's fault, right? The line is breaking
Offensive
down.
Line breakdown. Yeah.
So what do you do? And it's like, you can say whatever you want about Fitzpatrick. He seems to thrive in that environment, right? He's just, it's all these drops, throwing on the run, like it's like you got to get outside the pocket. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. I'm hoping Tua is not hurt. One of the problems we've said about Tua is like every time he gets hit, like I find it's funny, like my heart stops for a second every time, and that's not good. I don't like watching football.
But David, remember last week I said that coach was the old Bears defensive coordinator, Vince Fangio.
Yep.
Guy's an defensive genius.
Yep.
He is going to find a way to get at that quarterback and take him off his game, and that's exactly what they did.
You called that perfectly. And the problem there is I went over and saw it with Andy Parrish. I was watching the game with Andy Parrish Sunday night, and he was saying he heard someone say, or maybe it was in the broadcast, they have film on Tua. And I think it's probably more along the lines of what you're saying is the unfortunate thing is they've done the blueprint for stopping the Dolphins, right? I mean, like that's the problem. I don't know, like I've coached a little bit, and it's like I feel bad when that happens to you because it's like, oh my God,
they figured it out.
Yeah, they got the key.
But here's the thing: you still have to have the players to put in those positions to perform. Regardless, okay, I discovered the scheme, but do I have the?
Yeah, but Denver stinks. Like,
but we're talking about the Jets now.
We made it look like that. We made them look like the second coming of the steel curtain out there, man.
Right. But this is the Jets and their defense. So there's an actual chance that whatever they learned from that
the
Denver Bronco wins, they're not going to be able to replicate. It's Adam Gase. He's
and who knows what Gase is going to do?
That guy's all over the place. I don't even know how he's still a coach.
It's interesting you say that because Gase had his problems here, and one of the things that never ceases to amaze me Tommy, is this idea of you have a coach here in Miami and he stinks.
Yeah.
And he's a jerk and the players hate him. And you hear all these stories and then he gets hired. Gase is the perfect example, right? He goes to the Jets. I mean, the guy he was run out of town, right? People just couldn't get rid of him quick enough. And the Jets get him. And it almost makes you did anyone bother to pick up the phone and talk to a couple of Dolphins beat writers?
Right.
Like call some players. Like I do find it fascinating. And it's happened. And I'm trying to think of some examples, but it's happened to us where a coach gets chased out of somewhere else and they end up here. And someone will call me from Texas and be like, that guy sucks. Like you guys are in for a beating. And of course it turns out to be true.
Right. And I think that's true in college too. When you get guys coming I think we lucked out with the coach of SMU coming to be here, the offensive coordinator, because those guys were throwing up 60, 70 points a game.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we need to do with the type of quarterback like De'Ara King, spread the offense out and let it fly. So I think the same thing applies, good and bad.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody said anything bad about that SMU coach, and he's turned out to be pretty much a stud.
And one thing I wanted to leave you with too is who's FSU playing this week?
Ooh. They had to postpone the Clemson one, so they have to play. Let's see. Is it Pitt? No.
Are they playing this week? I wanted to bring it up because if anyone hasn't read it, it's really worth checking out the ESPN article about the hole that Florida State is in and how
they are playing.
Yeah, who are they playing?
Virginia at Tallahassee.
So that'll be an interesting. I mean, that's a game that should be winnable for FSU. But I'd encourage everyone to check.
But wait, Virginia's favored by 9.5.
Yeah, I would take FSU on that one. But I mean, listen, FSU's in shambles right now, and it's going to be interesting to see. And all indications are that this Norvell coming out of Memphis, he can coach, and it'll be interesting to see how they move forward. I mean, it's like Penn State. Like, I find it fascinating. Nebraska right now. Like, why does Nebraska suck so bad right now? Right. It is interesting to think about what's happening at these schools. I think it's fun to try to dissect it.
Well, same with Penn State.
Yeah.
How can they suck? How can they be 0-5?
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever been 0-5.
Yeah.
Maryland beat them.
And it's like
Maryland hadn't beaten Penn State since like 1960.
The thing that I find fascinating is you look at those teams, and not that I'm some big recruiting guy, but you pay attention to it, and it's like how many athletes on Maryland could even make the Penn State team, right?
Right.
Like you're talking about 3-5 guys, and how many could start?
Maybe two
one?
His brother.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's an interesting, it's hard to believe how this is happening. It's the same thing with Florida State. Like Florida State has the athletes. It's just there's no depth. I mean, that doesn't automatically lead to wins,
right.
but anyway, that'll be an interesting game because I do think Florida State covers in that game.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I mean, Virginia is terrible.
Yeah, but how bad can Florida State be when they're 9.5-point dogs?
Florida, because that's
insane.
It's a program in shambles.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, we finally got our producer back. He can
Grant Miller here. He can shut us down.
David, do you want to? Yeah, I mean,
happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I mean, I know you got a beautiful daughter, beautiful wife.
Just grateful for everything. My wife was yelling at me this morning about a bunch of stuff, and I said, "Let's be grateful." And she did not feel very grateful, but I am grateful for everything. And it's like I said, not to make light of it, but I'm grateful for some football to watch tomorrow. I'm grateful for Thanksgiving. I'm grateful. It seems as it's darkest before the light, and I think we're in for a rough COVID winter. Yeah, but it's going to end. And be safe out there and have a good holiday.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I mean, definitely thankful. My daughter just turned 19 on Sunday. Goes to Emory. Grateful for this job here with the Miller brothers. I love it. I had a great time.
We're grateful.
He says that now.
We're grateful for the Miller brothers for making this happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So everybody, hey, just stay safe this holiday season and social distance. Wear your mask. Be smart. We don't need an outbreak. We need a vaccine ASAP. Enjoy football this weekend.
Thanks,
Miami.
everybody.
Hit the finish button there at the top. No,
dude, Tommy, you do it all.
Hit okay. Hit okay.
Are you sure you want to finish the stream?
Go. Yeah. Okay.
High school.
This